Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara and welcome to another Q&A video. I think there's going to be a big thunderstorm soon, so hopefully we'll get some interesting background sounds. Anyway, before I get into today's Q&A video, which is about dating and meeting men in the street, I would like to share a little disclaimer with you. I'm not a sexologist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a medical professional, and if you do need anyone with those qualifications, then I would highly recommend contacting a professional. I'm a sex toy reviewer, sex toy designer, and I write about sexuality. I have been doing so since 2009. And everything I share is based on my own experience and opinions. And I would like to remind you that if you do write to me, I will not share I won't share your name or any identifying circumstances. It's all anonymous, so rest assured. Anyway, today's question is quite juicy, so here we go. I live in London, and when I was in my 20s, I was regularly approached by men asking for dates, usually at least 5 times a week. This has tailed off in my 30s, and I wonder if it's because men are less confident these days, addicted to porn perhaps, or perhaps they are still confident but chasing the 20-somethings instead. So I was wondering if you'd had similar experiences and if you could relate. Are men in Barcelona more or less confident at approaching you than in the UK? Well, I was UK born, and I've been in Barcelona for a very long time, but that was one of the first things I noticed when I moved here, was that there was a lot more male attention in the street, a lot more people saying guapa, guapa, which means pretty, pretty. So people were kind of like offering you compliments in the street, people you didn't know. Sometimes they would talk to you, but usually it was just a passing comment, so not many. And I guess it was easier to meet people here, a lot more than in the UK, I think. But what's changed over the years? Obviously, I've gotten older. We're all getting older, so maybe that kind of behaviour is less common. But there are 2 other things that I believe that have influenced things. One of them is the metoo movement. I think a lot of men have rethought how they approach women with all of this information and about the metoo movement in general. I think some men have believed that they were doing something nice when they were saying guapa, guapa in the street, whereas some women could feel a little bit intimidated by it. For example, if you're walking down a street at night and you're alone and you get these guys saying guapa, guapa, you might not feel so good about it. You could feel a little bit like threatened almost. Not threatened, might be a bit of a strong word, but maybe some people do. Could make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, even though the intention behind it might be a good one. And so I think there's a lot more awareness about how we treat women, and I think the Me Too movement has really done that. And I don't know how long it's been now, but it's several years, and I do believe that things have changed over that time. Even here in this Latin culture where people are a lot more caliente and a bit more kind of they don't need alcohol to kind of come out of their shells here. People are a lot more expressive, but I do think it's changed a bit. And also I think something that has changed is the prevalence and popularity of online dating apps. I think dating apps have really changed things. I think in the past, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, people relied on meeting people in person, so this kind of approaching others would definitely be something that happened a lot more back then. But now, I think it's quite hard. When I was I had my lesbian phase, it was about 3 years it lasted, but I remember going into these lesbian clubs and then being with a group of women, and because we were used to doing nothing and just having men approach us, suddenly it's like, hang on a minute, who's going to make the first move? It's not going to be me. So I think men have had, they've had to kind of like make that first move because of how things are or were in society, that kind of pressure that they have to be the ones to make the first move, and if a woman shouldn't do it, I think that could be, some people might like that still, that men make the first move. But I know there are apps like Bumble that it's the woman that makes the first move. But I think in general, men have had a lot of pressure to make the first move in the past, and now, and also there's that element of rejection to your face, which I can imagine is quite difficult. So to avoid that, it's a lot easier to use dating apps, because then if someone doesn't write you back, it's kind of like, it's not as bad as someone saying to your face, actually no. You know what I mean? So I do think dating apps have had a profound effect on that. It'd be great to get some male opinions on this as well. And I do think also something that's different is about your energy. Oops, it nearly fell down there, my iPad. about the energy you're giving off. I think I have a friend who was meeting loads of guys in the street here when she first moved to Barcelona, and it was because she was giving off this I'm new, I'm single, I'm ready to mingle kind of vibes. And as soon as she met someone, then she stopped getting all this attention. So I do think of the way you walk down the street, if you're kind of like have this approachable vibe about you, I think you're probably more likely to receive or to kind of like meet random people and maybe get asked out. But if I'm honest, that's not really my favourite way of meeting people. If someone just meets you in a bar or down in the street or somewhere out in public and they ask you out, it's just, I think it's really superficial because it's just based on what you look like. And I really prefer to have an active social life. I'm very active on Meetup, which is amazing. So I'm a member of many groups that are related to all of my hobbies and my interests. And I usually meet people through those circles, actually. So it's people who I already know, or I've taken time to get to know me, even though it's just friends at first. And then when they ask me out, I'm like, yeah, because I already know them. And I know that they're not just looking at me thinking I like her because of the way she looks. They actually know a bit about me. And I think that's something that really turns me on anyway. I like people to know what they're getting themselves in for. But also I have another friend who regularly approaches women in the street. And I keep trying to tell him that's not really the way to approach women. Try and make friends with people first and then maybe ask them for a coffee or to meet if you can sense there's a bit of vibe there, you know what I mean? But I just think randomly approaching people, I mean, it can be flattering to your ego and it makes you feel attractive, but is it the best way to meet someone? I don't know. I like to be treated as a person, and I like someone to get to know me first. And I really believe that, I don't really do any online dating or anything like that, but I really believe the best way to go on dates or to generate a kind of dating lifestyle is to have an active social lifestyle in the circles that you think that your preferred mate will be. I remember recently I had some love coaching with a friend of mine, and it occurred to me, I was thinking about the kind of demographic of the ideal man I would like to meet and his age. For example, I'd like to meet a guy who's between 40 and 50 or something like that. And then I was realizing, actually, where I'm not even frequenting circles that with people of that age group, or so I had to stop. I actually decided to stop going to certain things that I was doing. It's like, if I'm here and I want to go here, why am I going here? It doesn't make any sense. So my advice to anyone who wants to do some dating is to think about what kind of places your ideal mate would be, and then try and go there. And also think about things you like as well, the hobbies you have, and hopefully you can get to know people as friends, and then hopefully if there's a bit of mutual interest, then something will occur naturally. But it'd be really great to get some male perspective on this. So if you have any ideas about this, if you agree that there's those less kind of approaching strangers type of meeting or asking for dates, please let us know in the comment section below. It's a very interesting topic. And if you have any questions about dating, sexuality, sex toys, anything like that, don't hesitate to write to me at venus@venusohara.org, and I'll be back next week with some more Q&A. Thanks for watching.